This is a book that you're gonna see everywhere in a minute. It's about a young kid that was 14 and he was placed in a world where they bet big sums of money, and ultimately throughout the rest of my young life I learned to play pool, crap, and cards, and amassed a reputation for being one of the wise guys. And at some point in my life it offended some people. I thought it offended white folks at first. It offended black people. Some black people that were under that Willie Lynch syndrome. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I've always been this complexion, meaning I've always been dark. There was a group of people in Baltimore when I was younger, very light complected, very straight haired, and they controlled the numbers game, and most of the monies that came to the community that came through the numbers wasn't seen through the same eyes as drug money. The numbers man was seen almost like a hero. And ultimately, I think there came a time when I was called to assist in stopping a riot. And upon being successful in doing that, those persons that were, you might say, in control of things were offended by what they thought was my ability to convince other people. And so they started the rumor that any, and I won't say the word, but they used the N-word, that could stop a riot, could start one. We need to put him in the penitentiary. And so without my knowing it, that's what was the predicate of my going to the penitentiary. They set out to send me to the penitentiary. Ultimately, with all of this genius IQ that I had for numbers and gambling, I didn't know law. I had no knowledge at all of the law. I was completely ignorant to the law. And God. Thought I was God. You know, got to the point where you got so much money from doing different things, and you got so many people 2 and 3 times your age taking orders from you. It does something to your head. And so those powers that be, and some of their cronies, being police, on a day that I can remember, put 16 pills of narcotics in my pocket. And my ignorance of the law allowed them to manipulate me throughout the judicial system until I ultimately went to the penitentiary. Upon going to the penitentiary, knowing that I was ignorant of the law, I began to study law. Every day that passed from that point on, I studied and learned something about the law. It's been 40 years now. I could pass the bar in every language that I speak, which is French, Spanish, and English now. I am knowledgeable enough now at law that I can teach constitutional and criminal law. I've done everything that I can to make all of the unusual events of my life illuminate. I made them stand out so that you will see what it's like to be the godson of the Jewish boss of bosses, how unusual that was. How to be accepted in places where most folks that look like me couldn't get in. How to be able to spend your name where most folks can't spend money. It's been an enjoyable ride for the most part, but the 26 and a half years in penitentiaries all around the planet, that offsets it. I got second mixed emotions about that, but again, it is what it is. One part goes with the rest. And it's a good feeling also to get to a penitentiary 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 miles away from home and have some people in other nationalities meet you and kiss you on the cheek or on your neck and hug you like they've missed you, that your credibility stands before you. It's like, hey, you're home. Now, we wanted to meet you in another circumstance, but this is where you sleep. These are your family. If you need some money, he keeps the money. If you want to eat, that's where you sit at to eat. It's a good feeling. I see young people to be eager to be guided. They're smarter and bigger than ever before in history. And it seems that they have so few people that they respect, that ultimately they follow someone who should be following someone else. So you might say that's the blind leading the blind. Naturally, anytime a blind man is in charge and you're following him, it's only two things can happen. One is bad and the other is worse. I think the cycle inevitably can't be broken as long as narcotics is the main thoroughfare and the main substance and the main source of economy to the young black kid in the inner city communities. It's no way that you're going to tell a young black kid, get a GED, and then get a college degree, and then we're going to pay you some money, while he's getting somewhere between $500 and $1,000 a day right now selling narcotics. There's no trade-off. Unfortunately, if you can recall one thing about the picture The Godfather, they stated clearly, let's put it in the darkies neighborhood. It's been being done like that for forever. And if you want to believe that little kid around the corner that's controlling 2 8-balls or whatever else he's got is responsible for all the narcotics that exist all over the United States every day, every week. I got some beachfront property in Arizona, I'll tell you. Your environment doesn't stop you. Your environment makes it difficult. What you have to see is that through me and all of the others around the planet that look like me, you're going to have some good days. You're going to have some days that you got so much money it's sinful. You're going to have some automobiles that are so long and got so many gadgets in it you can't figure out how to use all of them. But at the end of the day, 12 people, usually all white, from juries picked all around the planet. Like in Baltimore, when you go to federal court, they pick your jury from Hale-Thorpe, Bethesda. People where the last time they saw somebody black, he worked in McDonald's. He didn't own a Maybach Benz or a house up on the top of the hill overlooking everybody. So they got styles that they used to seeing you in. Again, it's difficult. But along with all of your student study, open a case law called Find Law. You can find that on your computer. And study something about the law every day. Again, the law is the thing that governs and keeps everything in order. If you're ignorant of it, they're going to tell you ignorant thereof is no excuse. The same book that the prosecutor reads, it's open to you. Because I had been so conscientiously studying law, I knew that it was just a matter of time. But then time is nobody's friend. So ultimately it took 12 flat out of me to get out of the narcotics sentence that I had. And then immediately after that, I was given another 22-year sentence for being in possession of a weapon that I never touched. But that's the system that's profiled you. They're angry at you. And they're angry today. So I'd like to say also to all of you young guys that see me in The Wire and see me on American Gangster, that are impressed with what it's like to be an American gangster. Make no mistake about it, in all of this wealth and automobiles that I'm presumed to have had, there's no trade-off for 26 and a half years in the federal penitentiary. I don't care what kind of money you got, how much it's weighed, and the kind of feelings that are generated around a world where everything happens too late and too far in the future for all of the people there constantly keeps an atmosphere that's so thick you can cut it. In my 26 and a half years and in being in the street, I've witnessed 200 murders, at least. My honest feeling of law enforcement is that if you're not ignorant of the law, you'll realize that the best thing that you can do at law is keep your mouth shut. Everything you say can and will be used against you. Why say anything? That's Miranda. Whether they give you Miranda or not, the most significant thing you could do upon being arrested, shut up. You'll never win a case that you testify against yourself. The second thing that is of importance is that there's only one thing worse than an American gangster in America, and that's a terrorist. And they want you both dead. So you young people out there in America are impressed with what I'm supposed to be, and that your joy and your epitome is to become an American gangster. It ain't fun, baby.